This Thanksgiving, some people may be thankful for yams, some may be thankful Metroid Prime 4 is finally coming out, but something else we all are probably thankful for is the music in Super Mario games. Every game in the series has incredible music, but each game has a tune that stands above the rest. Today I'll be going over my personal favorite track in every main series game. Starting off with the original Super Mario Bros on the NES, there's only a few options due to the limitations at the time, but I'm gonna have to go with the main theme you all know and love. This is quite literally the most famous video game tune of all time and arguably one of the most famous pieces of music in all of human history. It's been remixed and remade more times than I can count, but for now I'm just talking about the original. There really isn't much to say about the song, it's just pretty simple, but it's a catchy, upbeat track that you can't help but vibe to as you're jumping across the Mushroom Kingdom in its original state. And since the Lost Levels has pretty much the same soundtrack, I'm just grouping it in here. On to Super Mario Bros. 2, the USA version, we have the character selection track. I went back and forth between this and the main theme, but I just love this one. Just so fun and catchy. Even if it isn't the most complex song of all time, this track is just a great background to the character selection where you get a whopping 4 choices on who you want to begin your journey with. Now for the final NES installment, once again I went back and forth on 2 choices, the airship theme and the ending theme. I think the ending theme just gets the edge here. It starts off slow and makes it clear you've just finished your adventure and saved the princess. It's the ending of the play as the curtains close, and this is a remake of the original ending theme, but I feel they made it so much better and added so much more here. Anyway, after a little while, it speeds up as the curtains once again go up, and it recaps the different lands you had to travel through. Just a very rewarding way to close out this fantastic game. For the first handheld entry on this list, we have Super Mario Land on the Game Boy. I'm not a huge fan of this game's soundtrack or this game in general, but it has a couple good tracks, and the one I'm going to be choosing is the main theme. Now this is pretty similar to the original Super Mario Bros. In the sense that it's a pretty simple song, but it's simply just catchy, upbeat, and fun to listen to. I also do love how it sounds on an original Game Boy with the sound chip that it has. Listening to it online just does not do it justice. The first 4 entries on this list haven't exactly had the most expansive soundtracks, but Super Mario World just has banger after banger. The SNES was a little before my time, but I used to play through Mario World on the DS using the GBA port, and I always love listening to the music, so it's a very tough choice here. The athletic theme is the most famous, but I also just love a good ending song which rewards you for finishing the game. So it's extremely close here, but I think I'm going with the credits theme. And it won't be the last time either. This is even better than its Super Mario Bros. 3 counterpart, as the better technology allows for more sounds, and it's a far more complex and interesting tune overall. It once again starts off slow, but has different sections, and eventually goes back to how it sounds in the beginning with the added twist of being faster, before reverting to the slow congratulations you're used to, before having a chromatic sounding ending to officially wave you goodbye. Now for the second Game Boy game, Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. And for this game, it was an easy choice for me, it's Wario's Castle. Just what a great way to lead up to the final boss. It's ominous, suspenseful, unnerving. It just sounds like Wario, if that makes sense. It doesn't sound like the traditional final castle theme, as more likely than not you're going to be fighting Bowser, but since it's Wario this time, it changes. Not a huge fan of this game's soundtrack either, even though I do think it has quite a few good songs, but this is a very underrated song, like I almost never hear anyone talk about it. Alright, this game isn't really a Mario game. I usually don't talk about it in my Mario videos, but I just want to mention it here because I love this game's soundtrack. It's one of my favorites, it's one of the ones I'm most nostalgic for. And my favorite track for Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island is a tie. I couldn't choose between these two, like it's Flower Garden and the athletic theme. Let's start with the athletic theme. I just love this song. It's just as simple as that. There's not really anything specific to talk about in it. It just always gets stuck in my head when I listen to it. Just one of the most fun Mario or Yoshi songs there is, and it sounds even better hearing a live cover where it's played on piano or by a jazz band. Just look up Yoshi's Island athletic cover after this video. Like I promise you won't regret it. As for Flower Garden, it had some great memes a few years back. And I love it for all the same reasons as the athletic theme. It just makes it sound like you're a dinosaur carrying around a baby through a garden that happens to have flowers, am I right? Yoshi's Island soundtrack is just really underrated. Like, fans of this game know how great it is, but a lot of people don't really talk about it that much. For the first 3D entry on this list, of course we have the Nintendo 64's Super Mario 64, which I get nostalgic listening to as the DS version was one of the first games I ever played. There are iconic songs in any painting you jump through as you traverse the castle, and as much as I tried to not give the best song to the ending theme for like the third time this video already, I have no choice. I love the Bob-omb Battlefield theme and Dire Dire Docks and almost every other track, but the ending here just hits different, and it's most definitely nostalgia. This was the first game I ever beat, and I can't hear this without getting chills. I used to bring my DS around everywhere as a kid and play Mario 64 until I finally finished this game and got to hear this magnificent theme. It will always hold a special place in my heart, and I just couldn't choose any other song for this title. Super Mario Sunshine has a very tropical sounding OST as you'd imagine, and I do enjoy it. Maybe not as much as 64, but there's a lot of bangers here. Delfino Plaza is one I considered, but I think my favorite track here is Bianco Hills. Not too much to explain for this one. It's like half the songs on this list, it's just upbeat, fun, catchy. It just perfectly encapsulates the environment you're in, which is just traversing through the tropical setting. Now, I do wish there was a little more variety in this game, but I also don't really want to complain about it because it's not like Nintendo didn't take advantage of the theme, and this is just a fun OST to listen to. Now, back to 2D games for a bit, we have another one of my early childhood favorites in New Super Mario Bros. DS. These songs were unique at the time before its successors just kept using the same tracks. Like with the Game Boy games, I love how the sound chip makes it sound. It's purely nostalgia, but it can't be replicated without the original system. I'm going to go with the athletic theme. And this is easily my favorite version of the New Super Mario Bros. Athletic theme, purely due to the DS sound chip. I used to have an electric toothbrush that would play this while brushing my teeth, and in the comments I want to know if any of you had that same toothbrush. This was back when the New Super Mario Bros. Songs all sounded fresh and all had that Mario platformer vibe. I still like the future soundtracks in the series, but nowhere near as much as this one. Just listen to the Wii version of the athletic theme. Like, it's good, but it just sounds watered down in comparison. It's like it kind of lost part of its personality. Now on to probably the best video game soundtrack of all time, maybe besides the sequel, Super Mario Galaxy. I don't even know how to choose one here. Almost every single track is an orchestral masterpiece. For the sake of variety on this list though, since many have just been fast, upbeat level themes, I'm going to change it up and go with the somber piano version of the Mario Galaxy theme family. It's just a beautiful rendition of an amazing theme song without all the fanfare of other versions of it, which, don't get me wrong, are still fantastic, but I just love how it sounds played softly on the piano. I could talk about this game's soundtrack all day, and I might just do that for another video, but for now, let's get to another game. New Super Mario Bros. Wii is another game I have a ton of nostalgia for. I got it the day it came out, and immediately played through it with my brother, and even though a lot of tracks are originally from the DS version, they are redone, and there are some newer tracks. And I didn't even have to think for what I was going to choose here. It's the staff roll. I don't really need many words to explain this. It's just purely nostalgia, even though it's still a really good song. I just love the staff credits where I just be jumping around collecting coins as this upbeat tune played in the background. It's a great way to end this fun multiplayer adventure, and we've heard this in a few other games. Like, it was oddly enough in Puzzles & Dragons Mario Bros Edition, and I talked about that in another video. This honestly is probably in my top 10 favorite Mario tunes of all time. Like, I love this track that much. Super Mario Galaxy 2 continues its predecessor's generationally amazing soundtrack and has the same vibe of space exploration, but brings so many new tracks. For my favorite here, I have to go with the credits theme here. As much as I wanted to have a little more variety and not just keep doing credits / staff roll themes, it's just too good and might be the best song in video game history. Words can't even describe it, just take a listen. Also, honorable mention to Fluffy Buff Galaxy. Also, let me know in the comments, what do you think has the better soundtrack, Galaxy 1 or Galaxy 2? Now, I'm not actually the biggest fan of Mario 3D Land or its soundtrack. I just don't think it's too memorable, but I do like the overworld theme. There's nothing that stands out about it too much, but it's catchy, it sounds like your typical fun Mario song, and it lends itself to a lot of remixes throughout the game that utilize it well. However, I just think the original version of it is the best. As a Mario fan, I can appreciate the soundtrack because there are a lot of fan favorite tunes that come back, but also when I play a new 3D Mario game, I want to have a lot of original tracks, and 3D Land was just very limited in that regard. I legitimately don't know if there's more than like 2 completely unique tracks in this game, or if they're all just remade versions of past New Super Mario Bros. Songs. Just like with 3D Land, New Super Mario Bros. 2 really struggles with this. But for my favorite here, I'm going with the Reznor battle, which I believe is from Super Mario World. It's a boss theme that puts you on edge and goes fast, which makes you want to follow suit and not slow down. There aren't a ton of different parts of the song, and it does get repetitive after a while. But this battle doesn't take too long, so for that time, it is a bop to listen to. And now we're finally almost done with the new Super Mario Bros. Games, with New Super Mario Bros. U, which finally got some new tracks. The track that is my absolute favorite is a new version of an old song, but I feel like it just fits so well, and it's World 8. Takes the classic Peach's Castle theme, but makes it dark and mixes it with the sound of Bowser's Castle to show that he's in control of it and you need to take it back. One thing I will give New Super Mario Bros. U credit for is it did definitely try to change it a little more. Like New Super Mario Bros. 2 pretty much just added in coin sound effects to its tracks. New Super Mario Bros. U definitely does have a little bit of a different vibe, but it still is very samey to the other New Super Mario Bros. Games at the same time. After talking about a few games in a row, which I'm not the biggest fans of in terms of their soundtrack, we have the one that is my third favorite in the entire Mario series. Super Mario 3D World goes for a big band jazzy style for a lot of its track, and I just love this style. Like, I love when it appears in any game. Most of these tracks would be my favorite if they were in like any new Super Mario Bros. Game, but unfortunately for them, they have a lot of competition. I'm also incredibly biased as I play a certain instrument that I've mentioned in like 10 other videos, comment if you know it, and this instrument is featured in many songs in the game. So this was a really tough choice for me. Like, I love the main theme, I love the World 8 Bowser theme, but my absolute favorite here, I think I gotta go with Histocrat Battle. Starts off with some percussion and then gets right into the action with the big band sound highlighted by trumpets with some saxes joining in. There's just so much that went into this track. Like, just take a listen. Like, I know it's playing in the background now and you heard it for a few seconds, but you gotta listen to this full thing or listen to a cover of it. It doesn't even get repetitive. Like, sometimes when I play this, I want to just be in the battle longer so I can keep listening to this. Like, there's so many different sections, there's so many instruments in this. Super Mario 3D World, I know it's not everyone's favorite game, but this soundtrack is one of the best in the entire series.
Mario Odyssey!
And now we're at a game that I didn't know was this controversial with its soundtrack. I've seen a lot of people say it's their least favorite. I've seen people say it's their favorite, and I fall in the middle. I really like the soundtrack, but I think there's better ones. Like, even if this has a weaker soundtrack for a 3D Mario game, that pretty much still puts it as an elite soundtrack overall in gaming. While there's a lot of great tracks here, like there's New Donk City, there's the Wooded Kingdom, there's Break Free, it really came down to 2 tracks for me. One being Fossil Falls. Now this theme is pretty much the main theme of the game, and then the other one is Jump Up Superstar. So I believe this was actually the first Super Mario song to have real lyrics. It actually came back in popularity like pretty recently, like through Reels and TikTok. Just like with Yoshi's Island, I'm just going to talk about both here. Starting off with Jump Up Superstar, I already mentioned being a big fan of the big band jazzy style of music in Mario games. And this time it even has lyrics, and you get your own virtual concert. There's just so much variety in this one song, and some really cool small details, like having Donkey Kong sound effects mixed in, and it just sounds like a song that can exist on its own outside of being part of a video game soundtrack. That is, if you ignore the Mario theme lyrics. It's just an elite song overall that I know people have talked about for how great it is for the past 8 years now. And as for the Fossil Falls theme, which I mentioned, it's pretty much the main theme of the game and has different versions. It kind of gives off some Super Mario Galaxy vibes with a grand orchestral sound of it, and makes you feel like you're on one big adventure. Or an Odyssey, if you will. This specific version of this track just fits the beautiful Fossil Falls so perfectly, as it's the first time you feel like you're able to truly explore in the game, and it's through a grassy, prehistoric landscape. Now that I think about it, Odyssey's soundtrack is better than I remember just to its top songs. Now we have Bowser's Fury, which isn't really a full game, but there are some great tracks here. Like, it has a very different vibe, and my favorite track here is Fury Bowser. Instead of the traditional Bowser's boss theme, they went with a heavy metal track that's just a banger if we're being honest. I also think it's funny how you're playing a Mario game and then Bowser is just there with this metal song with an electric guitar just blasting in the background, and it works so well. Like Bowser's Fury, it doesn't have the most expansive soundtrack, but it is very high quality. And the last Mario game we have on here is, of course, Mario Wonder. Wonder has a very distinct soundtrack, and while it isn't my favorite of all time, I still think it's solid and has quite a few memorable tracks like Athletic Theme, the Overworld Theme. But for my favorite here, I'm going with Going Up. It just sounds like a classic Koji Kondo theme. It's just a super fun tune that may get a little repetitive after a while, but it has different sections and sounds like it references Mario games of old. If I grew up playing Wonder, I feel like this would be my version of like the slide theme from 64. That's just a fun, fast track you always get nostalgic for. Okay, we're actually not done with the video yet. I've covered the main series Mario games, but I do just want to talk about Donkey Kong Bonanza, even though it's not a Mario game. You can tell Nintendo realized how popular Jump Up Superstar was, because for any of you that played Bonanza, half the game is about music. While it is a Donkey Kong game, so you can expect an OST of the Year soundtrack and a ton of fan service, there's one song I think stands up above the rest, and it's Breaking Through Heart of Gold. While it's not a Mario game and won't get the same level of attention, I guarantee if this was in like an Odyssey 2 or something, it would be close to as big as Jump Up Superstar. Like, I can't even describe how great this is. Like, the excellent vocals, the melody, and then halfway through this masterpiece just has the original Donkey Kong Country theme, and it's enough to make a grown man cry. One of my earliest videos on this channel was talking about Bonanza's soundtrack, and if you want to hear more about this peak game, I suggest checking that out. And that's my favorite song from every Mario game, plus Donkey Kong Bonanza, plus Yoshi's Island. If you're new to the channel, I have videos going over the best and worst music in Mario RPGs. I have a video going over the worst music in Mario games. I have a video ranking the Super Mario soundtracks. Plus I have a couple others. Like, I'm a big fan of video game music, so it's one of my favorite topics to talk about, so subscribe if that's something you're interested in. And if there's any other games or series you want to see me talk about, let me know in the comments. If you did make it to the end of the video though, be sure to like and subscribe, and also consider joining my Discord and becoming a channel member for just a couple bucks a month. Thank you for watching Domainy, and I'll see you next time.